Hello, my lovely listeners. Welcome back to another episode. All right, a little bit feedback from the last two episodes. So I think in the last episode, there was some sort of a disturbance in the voice or in the recording, and there was like some sort of noise coming in again and again. And I'll tell you what it was because it also gives me a chance to complain about my husband. So I have this phone holder stuck to the phone cover on the back side of it, which can be like slided and then can be used as a stand to put your phone. Now, my dear husband just misaligned it and did not stick it in the center of the phone, but a little to the below section. And that now sort of messed it up and like um, played along with its balance. So whenever I try to keep my phone upright, it keeps on sliding. Yeah. So blame my husband for that. And yeah, maybe with this, maybe he'll buy me a new phone. No, I can buy my phone. Like, I definitely can. I have two, one Android, one iPhone. We'll talk someday else about why I have two phones and like completely working fine. Both of them are completely working fine. But, just as a gift, yeah. I mean, come on, bro. Your wife's dealing with so much. She's taking the shit off your family like almost every day. Can you just not gift her something? Actually, he can. He does. It's just I don't want him to because I want him to save for a vacation. Anyway, so moving on, which brings me to all right, yeah. So again, recording from a break room right after my lunch, using a headset that our office gave us. So I am hoping that the sound would be better today. So yeah, the thing that I want to discuss today that's like on top of my mind is about, remember from the last episode where I talked about how there's this one issue that's messed up in your team, and for the longest of time, nobody's attending to it, and suddenly everybody's jumping onto it? Well, today's discussion was the AI side of it, like, so even more exploded. Whew. So, let me tell you what happened. Now, there's this one guy, let's call him Pratik. Pratik has been building some sort of a AI solution on our leaders level. So for like our entire org, which means on an L8 level, there are about, I don't know, 500, 600 folks. And then there are sub teams under these people. So yeah, like a huge amount, a huge impact thinking. So what this AI tool does is basically he along with a couple of other POCs, they are very well versed with whatever AI functionalities or capabilities that are available at our organization. Um, but then I just feel so he's a level up than mine, and he's been on that level for quite some time. I think he's also awaiting a promotion, which is not happening right now because of the market situation. And so he's just again branching to get more and more experience. And so wherever the time comes, you can, advocate your promotion. So again, what he's doing is something, if I'm given the time, I would also do that. Like I can, all the documentations are available. You have enough time to experiment on the tool. I can do that too. It's just I don't have that much time, and even at home, I can't. When I was unmarried, I used to like invest more time into these details, but now I don't want to. I just don't want to. I want to draw a line. So I sometimes log out early on Fridays, and I feel that yeah, whatever is this leftover work for about an hour, I'll do it sometime over weekend. But I just don't do it, thinking why, when work can come in my daily life, I don't want to ruin my personal life and this additional 1 hour that I have with my family to work on some task like this, because let's face it, I am due a promotion and they're not giving it to me. So it's not just me, to be honest, it's like a lot of people like us. But then again, if organizations think that they need to invest into something that's going to wipe out the humans, and that's why let's put our investment there and stint the growth of our existing employee base, and also not hire too extensively and then bring out opportunities to lay off people suddenly, like some of the teams are laid off just because 2 years ago there was a overhire in their team. Hello, you should have planned better. That's how you do. And I mean, who's setting the standard that you have this much backlog and so you need these many people? So let's hire, and 2 years in the row you are like, hey, overhired, go out. You set them benchmark, even if it is a backlog, people will eventually clear it. So why do all this shit? So again, see, this is how they are fooling us. Anyway, I'm not here to like complain about that. Maybe some other day, or maybe this is something that's already been written and talked about, and so I don't want to do that again and again. So back to the point, back to the discussion that we just had today. So yeah, so this guy who's basically leading a AI related initiative at an org level, and what it does is you submit ideas for something that you think that can be automated, identify the points to his team, and then they'll guide you through. They'll walk you hand in hand. They'll tell you that yeah, we have this feature, you can create this. We have this feature, you can create this. Hey, do you need an example? Take this example or this template and things like that. So our team has submitted a couple of ideas. These ideas came from L4s and L5s. Okay. When we sat down for the discussion today, it was supposed to be a 30 minutes discussion, ended up being an hour long discussion. Now remember that colleague of mine from yesterday's episode, who like I had slight riff about, where we sort of duplicated our tasks. Let's call her Papita. So Pratik and Papita, nice names, are quite close, I'd say. Now, why I say this is, so when Papita was new in my team, I was the only person in India, and she would sit with me. I would mentor her. I trained her on all her work, and then I had to eventually step down or go out for my maternity. Papita was really close to me, in the sense that she would ask me a lot of details about how the team is. I would tell her unfiltered, and we had a couple of personal things as well shared across. Again, in all honesty, everything was fine. Even I felt that she's genuine, right? Uh, but I think the same year we had a summit, and there were other people as well in that summit. So even Pratik, he was from an extended team at that time, so he was also in the summit. And I saw that she is now bonding with other people, which is fine. She doesn't have to wait for me. But then she's bonding to the point that in front of me they're talking in their regional language, and I'm not able to understand things. And you know how, I mean, it doesn't happen to me always, and I have been in different states with no understanding of their regional language whatsoever since like 2013. So it's like over 10 years. It's 13 years. Wow. Okay. And so now I can always sense when someone's genuinely talking in their other language, or when someone's hinting something at you. Okay. Sometimes, so again, I've had friends who know these other languages. Some of them are my best of friends. And I do ask them that, were you talking about me? And my friend mentions that, yeah, I was just telling this person that you like this thing about our state, or, this dish that we are eating, and you want to know how it is cooked. So I asked the waiter that, something like that. She would tell me. And yeah, I mean, you would guess, or you would know by their mannerisms, that they're not making fun of you, or they're not, taking a jab at you or something in their language. But then from that first interaction, this is what I sensed. Now, what I also saw, so there were people from across the globe who came in for that summit, and back then our manager was from US, and now I saw her in front of everybody. You try to find that relatability with everybody, which is fine, but I saw her putting extra effort and like bring out a lot of things for discussion. And I just felt, is this genuine, or is she trying to, make her way through? But again, that's fine. We were just like, I was working with her from office just for a couple of more weeks, and then I was on work from home because I was expecting, and then I went on maternity, and I just resumed work this year from office, and so I only get to see her now to work. So yeah, Papita and Pratik from 2 years ago, cut to today, they both sit next to each other and they both talk a lot. There are days, so they sit behind me. So I'll tell you how I sit. I sit at a cubicle right behind me. My manager sits, and adjacent to her row is the seat of Papita and Pratik. Okay, my manager is also like not from the same region that these guys are in, and so she also doesn't understand their regional language. She and I share same regional languages, which is basically Hindi and English, to quote. Anyway, so there are days when I have heard them both whisper. I think at some point I also heard the mention of my name or my manager's name, and I just realized, okay, they are talking about us, which is again fine. Your friends, you can do that, but then you know sometimes you can sense when somebody behind you pauses mid sentence and makes a movement, maybe a movement of peeping in to check, and then goes and then starts talking in their regional language. This is also something that has happened with me. Again, Papita and Pratik to blame. So, Pratik, again, the guy who's working on this big AI hand holding project, and Papita, who I shouldn't be saying this. Actually, no, I shouldn't say this because I think only when I'm really pissed at her is when I think like this, but then I shouldn't because usually I don't think like this. And again, this place is not for uh, somebody to feel attacked or something. This place is for us to just take out what we think, and then not at the cost of demeaning somebody else. So I'm just not gonna say something bad about her, but all I can say is she is not very comfortable with our mechanisms, with how things are, and she's not very fast paced. I won't say that I am also very fast paced, but I am at least moderately paced. She's not that. She's still a little slower. And so when it comes to adopting something work wise, there are rarely things that she's done that first and then other team members have done it and then she has guided us through. Most of the things that she has, basically there's just this one thing which is basically a project tracking tool that had come into Amazon. She just jumped into it, read everything, used it a lot, and then became the advocate for that tool. And right now she's the one who's lagging in updating her projects on that, and like doesn't understand how you share tasks in between and all of that. So again, as I mentioned, she's comparatively slower. Also, so we work in like a support team sort of an environment, a non-tech support team, and we don't really like have a situation where we have to genuinely very graciously meet our metrics day in day out. We have to sit on oxes or something like that. And yet she sailed from a situation where there was like our manager from US was on paternity, I was on maternity. She was the only person who was continuously working at the team, and then in between there's a new um, temp manager that she reported into, who's currently our current manager, uh, and then moved out of her. Then again came a day when she started reporting to her. So basically, this entire duration, she was the only person who was permanent in the team, and then some new people were hired, and then I resumed my work, and I saw, okay, there are two more new people at the same level working the same things that we used to do, and yet she's somebody who's in plan. I just feel because she was doing so much now. At some point, none of us were here. And so, how can you basically miss out on the opportunity to do anything? There was a point when she was the only person to do some very basic tasks of our team. And how can you not achieve that and then be in a performance improvement plan? And people just don't put you in a performance improvement plan when you are say misbehaving in conversations, because if there's something like that, you can clearly escalate to an HR. And knowing how gossipy she gets at the back, I just feel this is something that she would do if she was put into a situation like this. But then she's the one who told me that she is put into a performance improvement plan, and I'm like, I didn't tell this to her, but I just feel if you've accepted it for somebody who does a lot of gossiping around, if you've accepted this, then definitely even you know that you were failing somewhere in the performance. And so yeah, that's how she is. Cut to today's discussions. There were identified four projects that we had submitted to Pratik for some sort of a AI integration to automate processes. All of these projects more or less are linked, similar to what happened with me and Papita last time when I did something which she had mentioned she has done it already, but I couldn't see it, and then she said that she has done it, and so I removed what I did, and then now whatever she has done is visible. Oh, by the way, it is visible unannounced, but again, not my problem. uh so yeah. So similarly, so a good thing by my manager, she had set up this call, including all of us. So we had three L5s, Pratik, this other guy, and my manager, and three L4s, me and Papita. But then this other L4 who works from, I think, Costa Rica, he's currently on off, so he wasn't there, and that's why we had this call in IST times. And again, like I mentioned, all of these projects are somewhere related to the processes that we work on. And this is what's very curious. Suddenly, so up until last quarter, all of us are working on these processes. We're talking about this. We have to straighten this up. We have to simplify this. We have to let go of this mechanism, all of that. This quarter, it's not even at an end. There are four fucking projects doing almost similar things, but they are done not only by the people who work on these things. There are people who do not work on these things. They are hired for something else, and they are also solving for this. How stupid does the system has to be? And then again, all of these duplications, I feel, because these other two guys are L5s and my manager is also an L5, I think L6 and L7 should step in and just tell everybody that, hey, these four, so out of the 10, these were clubbed into four. And I still feel these four, either there can be clear cut boundaries, or these four again should be streamlined or compiled into just two, because this is so stupid. And then again, you see how other people are overstepping on our domain. So let me give another picture. My team, let's call it AB, and this other team whose ones are stakeholders, let's call them ZZ. So AB's work was um, to manage things uh, globally, like company wide, and ZZ's work was limited to a particular domain, say finance. Okay. Now, at some point, our leaderships collaborated, and so AB team and ZZ team were sitting together, and they were reporting under the same leaders. And so our manager back then thought, because both of these teams do similar work, just that one does it on a small team level, finance level, and another one does it the company wide. How about we combine the teams? Fine, we combine the teams. For the longest of times, even till today, there are situations where some people call us AB. Even I myself call us AB in like answering certain emails and issues. But we're supposed to be ZZ. Somehow we landed onto that, and I hate my manager for that, because she's the one who didn't support it. Like there can be a very clear cut um, distinction between AB and ZZ's work even today, by quoting them through these names still. But then she was adamant and she wanted us to be called ZZ because she was a part of ZZ, like since forever. So yeah. So now ZZ wasn't even doing what AB does. Okay, they don't even know the delicacies and nooks of our work, and yet they're interested to solve it here. Hello, what are you doing, you dumb fucks? But yeah, that's what we see. Anyway, so this is about today's episode about how companies thought it's good to invest in AI rather than people, and now people are fighting to kind of make things better in some senses using AI, but definitely improving all of that is going to remove the requirement of those who have contributed into identifying what can be automated using AI. And yeah, that's that. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. I think I should go back and resume work, because looks like if I have to fight this environment where AI is what we are headed to, I need to find my niche, and so I need to work. Thanks so much for listening. Have a wonderful day.